Right. So I don't have a lot of time just this morning, but I do have a couple of things I would like to touch on, and I'm gonna roll it up into one. So this is gonna be kind of like a smorgasbord of information. I'm gonna start with the guy on TikTok that steals other people's accounts. His name is the New Main, I think, and he does it in a clever way in that he masks his sounds and whatever not. The only way I know about this guy is because of the people that are hating on him for stealing their content, which I completely understand. That's fucked up. It's true. But what they don't understand, and I hope some of you are here listening to this, is that whatever you react to, you essentially propel and amplify. So whether you know it or not, you calling his name out, explaining how he steals content, explaining the methods how he steals this content, is literally going to make the person that's on your page watching you leave your page and go to his. Because I'm sorry to tell you this, but people that are on social media don't really give a shit about you or me or anybody. They care about what's fun and interesting. And when you're talking so ill of someone for stealing content, they're going to immediately want to see what you're talking about, thus leaving your page, going to his page and checking it out. Whether they like it or not after that, it doesn't matter. The fact is that you're literally advertising for him. Bad publicity is still publicity. So, I don't know what your plan is with all this, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I'm just trying to let you know that if your plan is to have people not visit his page, it may be backfiring by you doing so. And that's that. Um, that was quick. Second thing is the whole unfollow celebrities movement. While I do understand that you should, I'm a firm believer that you should aim high, set your goals high, and shoot for the moon, so to speak. I also believe that baby steps is the way to approach set goals. Meaning, instead of unfollowing celebrities, which I think we could get to eventually, I believe that maybe we should first try to not follow the people that trick you into following them. And most creators that do this saw it on a video of how to get more followers, or someone told them, because I've seen this suggestion before. And the suggestion states that you should tell people to follow you, smash that like button, yada, yada, yada. Unfortunately, some creators resort to these methods because I suppose they don't feel like they're getting enough followers and they need to amplify that. And sometimes it works. But you have to understand that when someone says double tap to confirm, you double tap and you like it, obviously that's what they're going for. When they tell you a promise like you will see fortune and fame and bigger whatever by commenting and sharing, you have to understand that if you don't comment and share, you won't not receive these things. And if you do comment and share and don't, you can't be upset at them because what the fuck? I'm sure that there's people that are there that do it just because. And it's not that it's a big deal. It's not. Who gives a shit if you follow an extra person or not? Who gives a shit if you fell for the trap of double clicking to confirm? That's not the issue here. The issue is that if you can be tricked or manipulated, so to speak, into following someone simply by someone telling you to do so, or tricking you into it by saying, follow, like, and share, what else can you be manipulated in? This is you at home, relaxed on your phone, just flipping through shit. And here you are, hitting the like button just because they told you to. Now, they're not going to know, and neither will anyone else. However, you will. And that's the most important part. You will know subconsciously that you could be manipulated into doing something simply by word of mouth. Like I said, not a big deal. But little things add up. Like the cost of a ramekin of ketchup in a burger plate for a restaurant adds up. Because a case of ketchup is $126. Every ramekin is a little bit of that ketchup. A little bit of a drip of water, like I said in my other post, is called Chinese water torture. The same amount of water used to flush the toilet can be converted into drops and dropped on a man's head from 2 meters once every 2 seconds could drive a man insane. It's the same thing. So you clicking that follow button just because someone told you to is you literally beating your will or your ability to stand up for yourself, again, so to speak, into submission. You're saying, I'll follow him just because he said so. No, I do not agree with that 100%. You should not follow anyone. Well, actually, you could do whatever you'd like because this is a free country and you have free will. Yes. But I believe you shouldn't follow anyone just simply because they said so. Because if you want to be led, if you're one of the people that doesn't like to lead and you would rather follow, that's fine. By all means. But may I suggest that you pick a decent shepherd at least? Because what happens is this. You follow this person and then they keep doing stupid shit, you know? And then later on you're sitting there and you have all these people that you follow and you're like, why the fuck am I following these people? Where am I? And that's usually how it happens too. You wake up one day and you look around and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? Ramekins of ketchup, my friend. So little things add up. So may I suggest, if you are one of those people that just does things because you hear them, try, if you wish, not to. Use your judgment. You're better than that. You're smarter than that. You're a human being, not a fucking sheep. That's all about that. Finally, let's talk about something interesting. Now that I've put everyone down, let me bring you guys back up. Let's talk about time travel. Someone just said to me, I made a post actually the other day. I don't know if it was on TikTok or YouTube. You all get jumbled up. But I made a post about the spectrum of light and how much we can see of this spectrum of light. And I made an example because I had a fire going outside and you can see the heat from the fire. It makes like a ripple in the air, so to speak. And with the sun, you could actually see the shadow of the heat. So while it's very hard to actually see the hot air unless you're like on a highway and you see like that mirage kind of thing going on, it's more difficult to see that than the shadow because the shadow is plain as day. It's just there. It dances on the rocks, wherever it is. Because the hot air has a different consistency than regular air and it moves differently. So when the sun shines through it, it's not the smoke that's causing the shadow, it's the air. So that's a spectrum of light, or a part of light that we cannot see normally or have difficulty seeing, but see better using the sun making a shade on the rocks, right? In that same instance, I started talking about ships that are cloaked. And I got a lot of comments saying I shouldn't talk about cloaked ships because that's how they start watching me. And let me tell you, my friends, I thank you very much for that. I do. I appreciate you, your concern and your thing. But let me tell you something. If they're watching me, they're watching me already. And if they weren't, and that's what tipped the scales, then shit, so be it. Because sooner or later, I was meant to be watched if there's anything even there to watch me. I don't think I'm that important, but if they think that I am, then shit, by all means. I'm still alive and thankfully still breathing. So good. Someone else had mentioned something interesting that really intrigued me on that, is they said that they saw an energy beam and that's all they can explain. Now, immediately I thought of the movie Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko is a very, very interesting movie. It was very well made and it's got a lot of things in it, like so many different avenues that you could take. There's schizophrenia, there's time travel, there's philosophy, there's all kinds of shit. I know it's a fictional movie, I get it. But this fictional movie has a lot of realistic undertones, whether you know it or not. Now, in this movie, there's a book called The Philosophy of Time Travel, which is also fictional, but it depicts, this thing. It's a diagram of a human being. And in the movie, you could actually see it, and it's Donnie. And out of his chest comes like this water beam, or looks like water beam, or an air bubble, or hot air, like that. And basically what it does is it like flows around the room. And at first he sees these things just like flying around the room, and then people are catching up to them. So essentially, like if I'm going to walk straight, there would be a beam of water coming out of my chest and going straight. And wherever I'm going to go, it shows ahead of time. Not by much, maybe 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. I think that all depends on how strong your intuition is, honestly. And I also believe that this is a thing that actually does happen and we just can't see it, because things like this and ideas like this don't just come out of nowhere. Steven Spielberg didn't just look at two plates and say, that's what a UFO is going to look like. And then everyone around the world simultaneously started depicting aliens with the same heads and the same eyes. Just like everyone around the Egyptians started building pyramids simultaneously. Same thing. That doesn't just, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't just happen like that. It's convenient that the 70-ton, I believe, granite blocks that are on top of the King's Chamber of the Giza pyramids are conveniently not explained or left out of explanations of how they got there. Because it's impossible to lift that stone on top of that pyramid without using a ramp. And a ramp would have had to have been bigger than the pyramid because the slope has to be less than 10 degrees, I believe, or something like that. Anyway, the point is people just come up with this shit out of nowhere. And the fact that this person said that he saw an energy beam leads me to believe he didn't see Donnie Darko, because I think he was a younger kid. And Donnie Darko is not very popular of a movie, but those who've seen it and those who like it really know what I'm fucking talking about. Now, it is a fact that your brain and your mind calculates probabilities all the time. It calculates probabilities of everything. That's what you do. You look for patterns all the time. Everywhere you go, everything you do, your mind is trained to look and find patterns, which is why sometimes when we look at an abstract or an ambiguous piece of art, we usually find a face, like the Jesus face in the toast the other day or the other year or whatever. We listen for human voices in ambiguous sounds like water, right? Sometimes we hear them and sometimes we can decipher them, but that's what we do. We look for patterns. We're used to seeing human faces, so we try to make faces out of anything. So if I showed you this picture right here, chances are one of you guys or all of you guys would see at least one or two faces somewhere in there. You would see eyes, a nose, and it's just a bunch of circles and triangles. Did I draw faces? Probably, you know what I mean? But it's more prominent than other pictures. Like if I showed you, hang on a second, let me walk over here. My apologies. If I showed you that picture, you would clearly see that somewhere in there's a face, right? But if I showed you something else that was more ambiguous, maybe not, but still. So just like we are looking for those patterns in sound and in sight, we look for patterns in action and things. Like I said before, if you're supposed to meet Bill on a hill with a blue shirt tomorrow, your brain will calculate the probability of Bill being there, wearing a blue shirt, and everything going swimmingly. They will also calculate the probability that you're going to be late, he's going to be late, he won't show up at all, he'll show up a red shirt, a green shirt. That just took me a couple of seconds to say. Your mind thinks way faster than I talk. But, and it does calculate all these probabilities. So sometimes when we have these deja vu-like moments, it's not exactly deja vu. It's just that we've thought about this before, and it actually happened, not in the way we thought here, but in the way your subconscious predicted. Keeping that in mind, these... I did know that there was a name for them, like a scientific sounding like name for these light spears or beams or whatever they call them, or water beams that come out of your chest. And if any of you know this, please do so. I don't have enough time this morning to go on Reddit and go on a witch hunt for these names because I really wanted to tell the kid and sound smart. But I don't remember the name. I posted it on my other account on Tumultuous Entropy before I got banned because it was so much easier for me to find then, but now it's difficult. I don't know why. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. The point that I'm trying to say is, ladies and gentlemen, time travel is not Terminator 2, where you jump into a machine and you pop back into 1981 naked. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't know of that time travel. As far as I know, lately or recently there's been a kid who came up with a formula for non-paradox time travel, which means that there is the grandfather paradox saying when I go back in time and I kill my grandpa, I cease to exist because my grandpa's dead. How was I born? The thing is, I don't know the mathematical formula that he came up with. I'm not that good at math, but I don't agree with the grandfather paradox because if I came back to kill my grandfather, I'm here. I already broke the law of traveling in time. So no matter what happens to my grandfather, I'm already here. Like I am a new me back in time, so to speak. And maybe that's what his mathematical formula depicted. It's really not hard to comprehend, but still. The point I'm trying to make is that this gentleman or this kid said that he saw something that was in a movie that he never saw. He said that he witnessed something that he could not have possibly known about. And he described it pretty well. Coincidence is something I don't like to believe in, although it's a beautiful word. I'm disgusted with the term that we've slapped on with it. As lazy as we are, we cannot find the significance between two events, so we just say just a coincidence. That's fucking, I hate that. I really, really do. So, riddle me that, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe that if I do ever find the right person to help me synthesize this dicyanin dye, and Walter Kilner, if you're down there listening in your grave or up there, please send me your angel to fucking help me make this shit. Or else I swear to God I will take organic chemistry and I will make it myself. But I have a feeling that what happens is when you see this human aura, as because diacyanin blocks out most of the white light, leaving just enough space for us to perceive the light that's around the human, I believe that if you look hard enough, close enough, or maybe just look, you will be able to see this energy spear. And I really, really wish I could get the name. It's not echinacea, because that's the herb. I really don't remember the name, but there is a name for these things. And yeah, but so that's pretty much all I have. I know, like I said, it was a little bit jumbled of content, but shit, if you're listening, you're listening. So happy thinking, and I'll see you soon.